day in. My name's David Lovegrove. Welcome to the Viking Superpowers. This channel is my new channel that's morphed out of my previous channel, which was called the Portal Superpowers. A channel in which I talk to some very influential people about the paranormal, about near-death experiences, about spirituality, about ancient aliens, about current aliens, about all sorts of possibilities that modern science often discounts as unbelievable or impossible. So in this channel, I'm going to be constantly bringing to you really interesting things that I've found in the ancient sagas and Eddas, the stories of the Viking Age, things that really point to a very different version of history and a very different version of the human abilities of those ancient peoples than you normally get from the mainstream of archaeology and history. The stories that I bring to you have been amazing me for the last several years. In the past, I was a very big fan of the Viking Age since I was a young guy, actually since 1973 when I read my first Viking book, since 1976 when I first started to learn Icelandic, and very difficultly and very tentatively started to try to read Old Norse. And in the last few years I've just delved deeply, as my Icelandic's got a lot better, into retranslating stories, and I've found an incredible layer of hidden mystery about the gods, about the elves, about the giants, about all these apparently mythical things that were going on that in actual fact, when translated clearly, seem to point to a layer of mysterious, ancient, powerful people, humanoid in aspect, people who were mortal, and incredibly a lot more like the people that the Marvel comics and the Marvel films paint. People that have a very poetic, artistic, exciting physical aspect, but who also seem to be able to fly, and who also seem to have gigantic houses in space, who go to homes that appear, when translated more clearly, to actually refer to planets. So that's what this channel's about. You might call it the outer limits of the Viking Age. But it's not just about cool, freaky mysteries, it's also about you. It's about you as a Viking, you finding your Viking superpowers within. And I'm a lucky person in that I've managed to learn a lot of interesting things in my life, and I've managed to learn from some of the very best people in the world. So I'm a trained artist. I learned at a classical art school. I'm a Chinese Kung Fu teacher, learned from some of the very best people from Hong Kong and China. I'm a yoga practitioner, and I've collected a large library of all sorts of books, all sorts of subjects, but as you can see behind me, I've got a pretty impressive Old Norse collection. Part of it was collected to me over the period of almost 50 years, and a large part of it was donated to me by the family of a well-known Old Norse scholar, Professor John Simon. And to say that my Christmases all came at once, or should I say my Yuletides all came at once, is an understatement. I'll be introducing you to this collection. I'll be using the books in this collection to translate the sagas and the Eddas and the old myths and stories for you. And I really look forward to our association together. I really look forward to chatting with you, to getting your comments, to replying to your comments, answering your questions as best I can, and just seeing how far this rabbit hole goes. My plans for the future is that I'm writing the first book at the moment called Viking Superpowers, and I've got a series planned out. I also intend to travel to Iceland, to Norway, to Sweden, to Denmark, to Britain, places where the Vikings went, and show you some of the incredible things that are hidden away there. So all in all, I think this is going to be an exciting channel and an exciting journey. I want to thank you very much, those who followed me from the Portal Superpowers. I hope that you'll continue on. You won't find this disappointing. My good friend Paul Anthony Wallace, who was a Church of England minister for 3 decades, has greatly inspired me with his researches into retranslating the ancient books of the Bible, finding paleo-contact, finding human spirituality and messages there that are not in the orthodox story, not in the orthodox interpretation. But he's greatly inspired me. He's a fellow Australian, and from his inspiration I turned to the Viking sagas, and sure enough I found the same sort of mistranslations and mysteries. I'll leave you with one mistranslation that really makes a big difference. In Paul's researches into the Bible, he found that the word for heaven was translated shamayim, or that's the original word, but it's translated as heaven, which is actually a 16th century English word, which once meant just the sky, and it referred to whatever else was up there, the stars, the moon, the planets. But for religious reasons, and perhaps without really thinking, scholars of Old Norse have also translated certain words in the Viking sagas as heaven, and the main word they mistranslate is himmel. And in Old Norse, that word literally just means the sky. The other word for sky is lopt, but we say that aloft in English. But the word himmel really more properly means the place where the stars are, the place where the planets are, the place where the asteroids are. So as soon as you change himmel from heaven to outer space, a whole different complexion comes over the sagas. The whole different meaning comes into these amazing stories of Thor and Odin and Freya and Loki, and it really starts you thinking, and that's what I've been doing for a number of years now, and I will continue to do so. So look forward to the next videos. Thanks so much for watching, and comment below. Please subscribe, please you tell your friends, and I'll see you next time.